Greetings. This is the second episode dealing with the Indiana Infantry Regiments that served during the Civil War, covering regiments 22 through 40. The 22nd Indiana Infantry, organized at Madison, Indiana, with many recruits from Jennings, Brown, Jackson, Bartholomew, Clark, Floyd, Carroll, Scott, Monroe, and Switzerland counties. The regiment mustered into duty on August 15, 1861, with Colonel Jefferson C. Davis in command. After mustering in, the regiment deployed to St. Louis, Missouri. The regiment saw extensive action in Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, and South Carolina. Major actions included pursuit of Bragg into Kentucky on October the 1st through the 15th, 1862, Battle of Perryville, Kentucky, October the 8th, 1862, Tennessee River and Chickamauga, Georgia campaign, August the 16th through September the 22nd, 1863, the Chattanooga Ringgold campaign, November the 23rd through 27th, 1863. They re-enlisted at Blaine's Crossroads, December the 23rd, 1863. They went on to fight, the veterans went on furlough in February and March 1864. They came back to fight the Atlanta campaign from May 1st through September the 8th, 1864, the Siege of Savannah, December the 10th through the 21st, 1864, and they participated in the Grand Review at Washington, D.C. on May the 24th, 1865. They mustered out of service on July the 24th, 1865. The regiment suffered 343 casualties, including 14 officers and 114 enlisted men killed in battle and 190 enlisted men dying of disease. The 23rd Indiana Infantry, the bulk of this regiment was from Clark and Floyd counties, though there were some from Crawford and other counties as well. The regiment organized in Indianapolis and mustered into service on November the 8th, 1862, under the command of Colonel William L. Sanderson. After mustering in, the regiment deployed to Paducah, Kentucky. The unit saw duty mostly in Mississippi, Tennessee, Georgia, and South Carolina. Major actions included advance and siege of Corinth, Mississippi, April the 29th to the May the 30th, 1862, siege of Vicksburg from May the 18th until July the 4th, 1862, Battle of Atlanta, July the 22nd, 1864, siege of Savannah, December the 10th through the 21st, 1864, and the Battle of Bentonville, March 19th through the 21st, 1865. The regiment mustered out at Louisville, Kentucky on July the 23rd, 1865. The 23rd Indiana Infantry suffered 217 casualties, 4 officers and 68 enlisted men killed in action, the remainder to disease. July the 31st, 1861, the 24th Indiana Infantry organized at Vincennes, Indiana. It mustered into action on July the 31st, 1861, with Colonel Alvin P. Hovey in command. Men of the regiment came from Lawrence, Orange, Vanderburgh, Daviess, Pike, Washington, and Martin counties. It traveled to General John C. Fremont's army in St. Louis, Missouri. It engaged Confederate forces at Fort Donelson and moved to Paducah, Kentucky after Fort Donelson surrendered on February the 6th, 1862. The 24th joined Grant's forces at Fort Henry, Tennessee. Once with Grant, it participated in the Battle of Shiloh, seeing heavy action in the battle. From Shiloh, the 24th moved south towards Vicksburg to participate in the siege of Vicksburg. The 24th took part in most of the action at Vicksburg, including Port Gibson and Champions Hill, where it defeated Confederate forces. After serving in the trenches at Vicksburg from May through July 1863, the 24th moved on to New Orleans, re-enlisting as a veteran unit on January the 1st, 1864. It went on furlough and returned to Vincennes for a short time. Upon its return to action, it saw action in various places in Louisiana, then was consolidated with the 67th Indiana in December 1864. The reorganized regiment saw action in Florida, Alabama, and Texas, finally mustering out on July the 19th, 1865, suffering 251 mortalities, 61 desertions, and 161 missing in action. The 25th Indiana Infantry organized in Evansville, Indiana. Men from this regiment came mostly from Vanderburgh, Posey, Spencer, Warwick, and Jackson counties. The regiment mustered into duty on August 19, 1861, for 3 years' service. The regiment deployed to St. Louis on August the 26th, 1861. During the course of its service, it operated in Missouri, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and South Carolina. Major actions included Vermont's campaign against Springfield, Missouri from September the 22nd through November the 3rd, 1861, Battle of Shiloh, Tennessee, April the 6th and 7th, 1862, Battle of Hatchie River, Metamor, October the 5th, 1862. Meridian Campaign, February the 3rd through March the 2nd, 1863. They re-enlisted at Canton, February the 29th, 1864. Veterans went on furlough from February until April 1864. They came back to fight in the Atlanta Campaign from August the 8th through September the 8th, 1864. The Battle of Jonesboro, August 31st through September the 1st, 1864. Battle of Bentonville, North Carolina, March 19th through the 21st, 1865, and they participated in the Grand Review at Washington, D.C. on May the 24th, 1865. The 25th Indiana suffered 361 casualties, 7 officers and 81 men killed in action, 270 lost to disease. The 26th Indiana Infantry, organized in Indianapolis with men from Pulaski, Miami, Fulton, Kosciuszko, Knox, Tipton, Perry, Tippecanoe, Jennings, and Dearborn counties. The regiment mustered into action on August 31st, 1861, with Colonel William M. Wheatley in command. The regiment deployed to St. Louis, Missouri. It saw service in Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, and Alabama. Major actions included General Schofield's campaign and operations in southwest Missouri until December 1861, capture of Van Buren, Arkansas, December the 29th, 1861, expedition to the Rio Grande, Texas, October 27th through the December 2nd, 1862, siege of Vicksburg from June 11th through July the 4th, 1863, Battle of Sterling's Farm, September the 29th, 1863. They re-enlisted on February the 1st, 1864. Veterans went on furlough in April and May 1864. They came back to fight in the campaign against Mobile and its defenses March 17th through April the 2nd, 1864. They siege a Spanish fort and Fort Blakely March the 26th until April the 9th, 1865. The regiment mustered out of service on January the 15th, 1866. The 26th Indiana Infantry suffered 364 casualties, 96 enlisted men and 3 officers killed in action, the remainder to disease. The 27th Indiana Infantry, organized in Indianapolis with men from Putnam, Daviess, Johnson, Lawrence, Morgan, Jennings, and Du Bois counties. After mustering in on September the 12th, 1861, for 3 years with Colonel Silas Colgrove in command, the regiment deployed to Washington, D.C. The regiment operated in Virginia, Maryland, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. Major actions included operations in the Shenandoah Valley, May the 15th through June 17th, 1862. Battle of Cedar Mountain, August the 9th, 1862. The Maryland Campaign, September the 6th through the 22nd, 1862. The Mud March, January 20th through 24th, 1863. Battle of Chancellorsville, May the 2nd through the 5th, 1863. Battle of Gettysburg, July the 1st through the 3rd of 1863. They participated in the Atlanta, Georgia campaign from May the 1st until September the 8th, 1864. The Siege of Atlanta from July the 25th through August 25th, 1864. They mustered out of service on November the 4th, 1864. Most of the men transferred to the Indiana 70th Regiment. The 27th Indiana suffered 302 casualties, 10 officers and 159 men killed in action. 2 officers and 131 men died of disease. The 28th Indiana Regiment, the 1st Indiana Cavalry, you can see the historical marker in Marion County and also the 1st Indiana Cavalry marker. The 29th Indiana Infantry, that organized in LaPorte, Indiana, with companies from LaPorte, Steuben, Greene, Elkhart, Knox, Cass, St. Joseph, Fulton, Cass, Marshall, and Porter counties. The regiment mustered into duty on August the 27th, 1861, with Colonel John F. Miller in command. It deployed to Camp Neven, which bordered the Nolan River in Hardin County, Kentucky. Most of the regiment's action took place in Kentucky, Tennessee, and Georgia. Major actions included Battle of Shiloh, Tennessee, April 6th through the 7th, 1862, Buell's campaign in northern Alabama and Middle Tennessee from June through August 1862, Battle of Stones River, December the 30th through the 31st, 1862, the Tullahoma Campaign, June the 23rd through the July the 7th, 1863, Battle of Chickamauga, September the 19th through the 20th, 1863. The 29th Indiana Infantry mustered out on December the 2nd, 1865. The regiment suffered 304 casualties, including 56 enlisted men and 4 officers killed in action, and 4 officers and 240 men to disease. The 30th Indiana Infantry, you can see this, I covered this one on the Allen County Historical Marker portion. The 31st Indiana Infantry, these companies came from Vigo, Park, Owen, Miami, Sullivan, Greene, and Clinton counties. This regiment organized in Terre Haute, and it mustered into action on September the 15th, 1861, with Colonel Charles Craft in command. It operated in Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. Its main actions were Battle of Shiloh, Tennessee, April 6th and 7th, 1862, Buell's campaign in northern Alabama and middle Tennessee, June through August of 1862, Battle of Perryville, October the 8th, 1862, Battle of Chickamauga, September the 19th and 20th, 1863, Battle of Ruskaka, May the 14th through the 15th, 1863, Siege of Atlanta, July the 22nd through August the 25th, 1864. Battle of Franklin, November the 30th, 1864. Battle of Nashville, December the 15th and 16th, 1864. The regiment mustered out of duty on December the 8th, 1865. The 31st Indiana Infantry suffered 378 casualties, 5 officers and 115 men killed in action. 5 officers and 263 died of disease. The 32nd Indiana Infantry organized in Indianapolis, Indiana, with companies from all over the state. It mustered into action with Colonel August Willich in command. Known as the 1st German Regiment, the unit fought mostly in Kentucky, Georgia, and Tennessee. Its main actions included Battle of Shiloh, Tennessee, April the 6th and 7th, 1862, pursuit of Bragg, August 21st through September the 26th, 1862, Middle Tennessee or Tullahoma Campaign, June the 22nd through July the 7th, 1863, Siege of Atlanta, July the 22nd through August the 25th, 1864. The regiment mustered out on December the 4th, 1865. The unit suffered 268 casualties, with 7 officers and 174 killed in action and 94 dying of disease. The 33rd Indiana Infantry, organized in Indianapolis, it mustered in on September the 16th, 1861, with companies from Morgan, Knox, Shelby, Gibson, Bartholomew, and Warren counties, with Colonel James Ellis Burton in command. The regiment deployed to Louisville, Kentucky. Major actions included Battle of Thompson Station, March the 4th and 5th, 1862. Most of regiment was captured by Van Dorn's forces. And they were exchanged on May the 5th, 1863. The regiment reenlisted on Christmas Day, January 1864. They participated in the assault on Kennesaw, June the 27th, 1864, Siege of Savannah, December the 10th through the 21st, 1864, Battle of Bentonville, March 19th through the 21st, 1865. They participated in the Grand Review at Washington, D.C. on May the 24th, 1865. The regiment mustered out on the Grand Review. It suffered 298 casualties. With 112 enlisted men and 4 officers dying in action, 2 officers and 180 to disease. The 34th Indiana Infantry organized in Anderson, Indiana, and mustered into service on September the 16th, 1861, with Colonel Asbury Steele in command. After mustering in, the regiment deployed to Jeffersonville, Indiana. It saw action in Kentucky, Missouri, Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, Texas, and Louisiana. Major actions include Siege of Madrid, Missouri, March the 5th through the 14th, 1863, capture of Fort Pillow, June the 5th, 1863, Battle of Port Gibson, May the 1st, 1863. The regiment reenlisted on December the 15th, 1863 at New Iberia. They participated in the expeditions from Brazos, Santiago, May the 11th through the 14th. They saw action at Palmetto Ranch, May the 12th through the 13th, 1865. The regiment mustered out of service on February the 3rd, 1866. The 34th Indiana Infantry suffered 243 casualties, 32 enlisted men and 2 officers killed in battle, the rest to disease. The 35th Indiana Regiment, known as the 1st Irish, it organized in Indianapolis and mustered into service on December the 11th, 1861, with Colonel John C. Walker in command. Companies from Marion, Vigo, Cass, Allen, Perry, Tippecanoe, Wabash, LaPorte, and Allen counties enlisted in this regiment. After leaving the state 2 days later, the regiment first went to Bardstown, Kentucky, and then joined with General Don Carlos Buell at Bowling Green. From Bowling Green, the regiment proceeded to Nashville, Tennessee. On May the 22nd, it met up with the 61st Indiana Regiment, the 2nd Irish. The 62nd had organized in Madison, Indiana during the winter of 1861. The 62nd first went into guard duty at Terre Haute and later Indianapolis. By May 1861, the regiment failed to make up the numbers necessary, so it traveled to Nashville for consolidation with the 35th Indiana. They fought at the Battle of Perrysville and the pursuit of Bragg. The regiment engaged in several skirmishes in Tennessee and joined the Union Army's pursuit of Confederate Braxton Bragg. After Perrysville, the 35th saw little activity until it engaged with Confederate troops during a foraging expedition near LaVerge, Tennessee, southwest of Nashville. During the December 31st, 1862 through January the 2nd, 1863, they took part in the Battle of Stones River in central Tennessee. Here, the regiment suffered 29 killed and 33 missing in action. After Stones River, the regiment marched to Chattanooga, where it engaged the Confederates from September the 18th, 1863, at the Battle of Chickamauga. The regiment went into camp at Shell Mound, reenlisted, and went on furlough. After returning from furlough in February, the regiment took part in General Tecumseh Sherman's march from Atlanta to the sea. The 35th Indiana served on the front line during the Battle of Kennesaw Mountain on June the 27th, 1864. The combat here was especially fierce, with hand-to-hand combat, musket clubbing, and bayonets during a frantic Confederate counterattack. The 35th, with the aid of another regiment, finally drove the Confederate forces back. The 35th lost 11 killed and 22 wounded during this heated battle. The Battle of Kennesaw Mountain was part of a larger operation that lasted from June the 9th through July the 3rd, 1864, called the Battle of Marietta. At Marietta, the 35th saw heavy action, capturing Confederate rifle pits, 28 prisoners after the Confederates had driven off 2 other Union regiments. The numerous battles and skirmishes had taken a toll on the 35th Regiment, reducing its numbers significantly. It was assigned to train guard duty until August 35th, when it fought at the Battle of Jonesboro. In September, the 35th Regiment entered Atlanta. While there, the regiment's numbers were enhanced by 400 draftees and replacements. The regiment then joined the Union Army's pursuit of Confederate General John Bell Hood's army. On November the 4th, 1864, it engaged Hood's forces at the Battle of Franklin, repulsing a fierce Confederate charge while on the front line. At the December 15th through the December 16th, 1864 Battle of Nashville, the 35th Regiment took an important part, then pursued Confederate forces as they retreated. They pursued as far as the Duck River, south of Chattanooga, when the pursuit was called off, and the regiment again placed on train guard duty. The regiment saw little activity after that. It moved to Texas until September 30th, 1865, when it mustered out. The regiment had suffered 244 deaths, 269 desertions, and 51 missing in action. The 36th Indiana Infantry organized in Richmond, Indiana, with companies from Wayne, Henry, Delaware, Union, and Fayette counties. It mustered into service on September the 16th, 1861, with Colonel William Gross in command. The regiment deployed to Camp Wickliffe in Kentucky. The 36th Indiana Infantry operated mainly in Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, and Louisiana. Major actions included Chickamauga, Georgia campaign, August the 16th through September the 22nd, 1862. Battle of Chickamauga, September the 19th through the 20th, 1862. Assault on Kennesaw, June the 27th, 1864. Siege of Atlanta, from July the 22nd through August the 25th, 1864. Battle of Nashville, December the 15th and 16th, 1864. The unit transferred to the 30th Indiana Battalion Infantry, July the 12th, 1865. The 36th Indiana Infantry suffered 245 casualties, 11 officers and 102 men killed in action, 2 officers and 130 enlisted men to disease. The 37th Indiana Infantry organized in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, with companies from Ripley, Dearborn, Franklin, Jennings, Decatur, and Rush counties. The 37th Indiana mustered into service on September the 18th, 1861, with George E. Hazard in command. After mustering in, the regiment deployed to the mouth of the Salt River in Kentucky. Most of the unit service took place in Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, and Alabama. Major actions included the Battle of Stones River, December the 30th through 31st, 1862, Battle of Chickamauga, September the 19th through the 21st, 1863, Battle of Roscoca, May the 14th and 15th, 1864, Assault on Kennesaw, June the 27th, 1864, Siege of Atlanta from July the 22nd through August the 25th, 1864. Non-veterans mustered out on October the 27th, 1864. Veterans and recruits reorganized into 2 companies. They then participated at the Siege of Savannah, December the 10th through the 21st, 1864. Battle of Bentonville, March the 19th through the 21st, 1865. They participated in the Grand Review, May the 24th, 1865, at Washington. The regiment mustered out of service on July the 25th, 1865, after suffering 226 casualties, 5 officers and 80 enlisted men killed in action, 140 men dying of disease. The 38th Indiana Infantry organized in New Albany, Indiana, with companies from Orange, Floyd, Harrison, Switzerland, Scott, Clark, Washington, Crawford, Monroe, Boone, and Allen counties. The regiment mustered into service on September the 18th, 1861, with Benjamin F. Scribner in command. It deployed to Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Most of its action took place in Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, and North Carolina. Major actions included pursuit of Bragg into Kentucky, October the 1st through the 15th, 1862. Middle Tennessee or Tullahoma campaign, June the 24th through July of 1862. Battle of Chickamauga, September the 19th through the 21st, 1863. Battle of Roscoca, May the 14th through the 15th of 1864. Assault on Kennesaw, June the 27th, 1864. Siege of Atlanta, July the 22nd through August the 25th, 1864. Siege of Savannah, September the 10th through the 21st, 1864. They participated in the Grand Review on May the 24th, 1865 at Washington. The regiment mustered out on July the 15th, 1865, after suffering 411 casualties, 9 officers and 147 enlisted men killed in action, and 255 to disease. The Indiana Regiment 8th Cavalry, you can see the 8th Indiana Cavalry for the history on this unit. The 40th Indiana Infantry, organized at Lafayette, Indiana, and mustered in on December the 30th, 1861, with Colonel William C. Wilson in command. The regiment departed Indiana immediately, moving to Bardstown, Kentucky. From there, it moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and thence into Alabama. After duty in Indiana, the regiment returned to Tennessee. When Confederate Braxton Bragg invaded Kentucky, the 40th went in pursuit. Returning to Tennessee, the 40th saw action at the Battle of Stones River on December 1862. It next saw major action at Chattanooga during the battles of Chickamauga, Missionary Ridge, and Lookout Mountain. Their enlistment expiring in December, the regiment re-enlisted in January and returned to Indiana for a brief furlough. The regiment reassembled and moved to Cleveland, Tennessee in time to move against Atlanta during General Tecumseh Sherman's march to the sea. The regiment saw action in all the battles and skirmishes of that campaign. After Atlanta's capture, the regiment returned to Tennessee to engage Confederate forces during the Battle of Nashville in December 1864. The 40th took part in the Union Army's pursuit of Confederate General John Bell Hood's army as it retreated through Alabama. The regiment returned to Tennessee, then departed for New Orleans, crossing the Mississippi River to Texas. The regiment took quarters at Port Lavaca, Texas. The 40th mustered out on December the 25th, 1865, 4 years after it mustered in. Losses included 312 dead, 131 desertions, and 29 missing in actions. The next episode will deal with even more Indiana infantry regiments. Find out more about Indiana's role in the Civil War by purchasing my book. You will find it on the website www.mossyfeetbook.com on the Indiana Short History Series category. There are links to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Google Play, and other online booksellers. You may choose to purchase the book in ebook or softbound versions. An audiobook version is also available on Google Play. At the conclusion of this podcast series, I will compile the episodes into an audiobook. The audiobook will be available on Audible, Amazon, Apple, Barnes & Noble, as well as many other audiobook sellers. You can listen to this podcast on many platforms, including Apple, TuneIn, Spotify, Amazon Music, and many others. Video versions are available on YouTube and Rumble. Southeast Indiana residents can also find my books at the Walnut Street Variety Shop at 111 George Street in Batesville, Indiana. You can also order these books direct from me, the author, on the webpage. If you wish me to sign the book, just send an email to mossyfeetbooks at gmail.com requesting a signed book and instruction on how you want me to address it. Note, if you send me an email, I will add you to my contact list. Readers on the list will receive an email from me announcing when I publish a new book. If you do not want me to add you to the list, tell me and I will not add you. Listeners to this podcast that want email notifications of my new releases can just send an email requesting addition to the list. You can choose to have your name removed at any time. If you browse the website, you will find dozens of sample chapters, one for each of my books. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and thank